Welcome into the ringerverse. This is, of course, the Ringers Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinkerer of things. We are Hollywood Holmes.
Wait, is that my camera?
AKA Coke Baby Chuck.
I just want to know which one's my camera.
AKA
Ready for the big lights on.
Brunch Hottie. AKA Damn Chuck. We are Old Man Van He of the receding resurgent hairline. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. All right. Follow us on socials. Insta, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok for now. Save Jomi's job. Jomi?
Socials are going great, but we got some more exciting news. Let them know.
What are you talking about?
You got to keep reading.
Oh.
Oh my God.
We're now on YouTube.
They've been asking, bro,
Yeah, they've been into it.
for years.
For years.
You can now watch every Midnight Boys, every House of R, Talk the Thrones episodes on youtube.com/ringerverse. We've heard the cries, and now we're here. 4 faces in one place. Midnight Boys. I was walking down the street, and a dude literally was walking down the street on my way to urgent care. And
Okay.
Just drop that.
I'm great. I'm great. I'm just, it's urgent care. Whatever happens, I go get it checked out. So this guy is walking down the street and he stops. Literally, he must have passed by and saw me, and he stops. And he's like, pew pew, pew pew. And
That's
I'm like,
not.
I'm like, for a second, whoa, the PTSD, and I'm like, oh.
I was about to say,
Right, yeah.
depending on what neighborhood you're in, you might duck and start.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. I will be in none of those neighborhoods. Now,
You don't want to touch the people, Vic?
I touch the people, but in neutral places.
Hold on. Hold on.
I touch the community all the time.
Right.
But either I make the right calls or it happens in the right venue. It's not going to happen to me. Anyway, the Ringverse will be live at the El Rey Theater this summer in Aleya. Oh my God, guys. We'll be there on July 17th. Talk to Thrones will be there on June 25th. Check out ringer.com events for more information. That's very exciting. Have you guys been thinking about the live show and like what you're going to do and how you want it to go? It's a very big deal to have a residency. We're like, I don't know.
Usher?
What's the guy's name that throws the cakes at everyone?
Steve Aoki?
We're like Steve Aoki.
Wait, why'd you go to Steve Aoki first?
Because
He's a good showman.
Yeah, he's got that
residencies.
Yeah.
These guys.
There's a lot of other artists with residencies.
Steve Aoki.
But the era that before the artists started doing the residencies, like Britney Spears and Usher, there was a whole era of the DJ residency.
Yeah.
These DJs are kind of, I actually feel bad for them because they're not the big deal residencies in Vegas anymore. It used to be come to Vegas, it's Steve Aoki, it's Deadmau's.
It's Pauly D.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Aoki got Benihana money, don't he? So he fine.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like now the residencies are about the artists. So when I was just throwing some love to the DJs. So
Yeah.
Would
you ever do, should the Midnight Boys do a Vegas residency when we old and wash? Just
Yeah.
go up every day?
Well, you don't do it when you're old and washed anymore.
That's true.
It's changed.
Oh, Bill Simmons, Ringer.
Yeah.
Vegas residency. Midnight Boys.
Tomorrow, the Midnight Boys are back again to give you their reactions to the 3-episode premiere of The Boys. Jesus Christ, The Boys, man. You guys are ready for some television wondery right there. The Boys is cooking. All right. Also tomorrow, the House of R gives you their deep dive on the Acolyte. That's very important. You're going to want to double up on what we do here with the instant reaction and what they do over there with the House of R, because I think the Acolyte being a show that's forging a little new ground, a little new territory, you know what I mean? It's good to kind of have all your ducks in a row. You want to double up there. Next week, the Midnight Boys will be back with our reactions to the House of the Dragon premiere and the Acolyte and the Boys. We're in the era of the content cornucopia.
Content
I like that one.
cornucopia.
I'm
Yes.
glad we had that one.
Reddit.
I like
Shout
that.
out them.
We're,
That's
we're
good.
sharing all of our bounty.
The Reddit came up with content
That's
cornucopia.
good.
That's
That's good.
shout out
That's
to
the
the Reddit.
first time the Reddit came up with something positive.
That's
Respect the Reddit.
The Reddit came up with content cornucopia. And I have to give credit to the Reddit, but Credit to the Reddit.
Honestly,
All right, new
we will
shirt's
give
coming.
more credit to the Reddit if you guys keep coming up with those positive, great ideas.
Charles is sick of it. On today's show, we're giving you our instant reactions to episode 3 of The Acolyte. And in the process of doing that, we will be spoiling all of Star Wars. We will be spoiling Clone Wars, Rebels, Revenge of the Sith, all the stuff that you read in the EU. You know, whatever is out there, we're going to spoil it, and we're going to spoil this episode of The Acolyte. Steve, give me my spoiler warning. We're getting ready to talk about The Acolyte. You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming. All right, to begin our reactions, we bring you the Midnight Manifest. Got to put you in the know. Only Charles can do that. Chuck, take it away.
All right, this is your Midnight Manifest for episode 3 of The Acolyte, directed by Kogonada, written by Jasmine Flournoy and Aline Shim. We begin 16 years earlier on planet Brendock, where we see a little Mae and a little Osha. They are taken care of by a coven of Force-sensitive, or should I say thread-sensitive, witches. One of their moms is a spiky horn mommy. She's kind of like Darth Maul, Mother Kirill, and the other... What?
This continues.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
The other is a black mommy, Mother Anasia. They created these two Force-sensitive little twins. Mae, she's like, damn, it's so nice to be in a witch coven. I never want to leave. And Osha's just like, I got dreams of playing with other Force-sensitive kids and being a Jedi. And then shit turns left when the 4 Jedi we know, Indara, Sol, Torben, and the Chewbacca motherfucker come, and they're like, yo, it's against the rules to be raising Force-sensitive kids. And Mae's like, fuck the Jedi. And Osha's like, damn, I want a lightsaber. So they trained, they're like, oh man, let me show you how Force-sensitive we are. And then Mae gets really, really upset with her sister when she realizes she's about to leave with the Jedi. And then we get our first hint that something happened when they were on Brendock. Everything burns down, all of the witches are burned. Mae runs away. Osha is taken in by Sol. And that is your episode, or recap, of Acolyte episode 3.
Let's get into it. I liked it. I actually really liked it, okay? I thought that it actually gave the show a little depth to me.
Mm-hmm.
Before, the show was good, but kind of a series of happenings, kind of people doing stuff, telling us about things that we should care about. In this episode, we got a little bit of emotional undergirding as to why this show will work if it does work. Not a lot of Jedi type stuff, not a lot of Star Warsiness, kind of a more intimate, self-contained story about family and about expectation and about exploration and about betrayal and all of that. But I dug it. What about you guys?
I liked it a lot. I agree with you. I think exploring the background of Osha and Mae, especially this early, helps with a lot of context. And I thought, honestly, seeing all the Jedi, Kelnaka, the Chewbacca motherfucker you forgot to mention.
I said the Chewbacca motherfucker.
Yeah, his name is Kelnaka. How hard is that to remember?
Oh, all right. Continue.
Why do you feel like you treated him that way?
Trader Joe's Chewbacca?
Wow.
It's crazy.
Hey, how's your weekend going? Any plans?
Wow. Why'd you feel like, why? What? Tell us, get it out.
I'm just not so, here's the thing. They've been pushing the Chewbacca button a little bit too much because they got the
Chewbacca button. It's a race of species in Star Wars.
Hold on for a second. You're racist.
I'm racist?
You're racist against Wookiees. First of all,
Black people can't be racist in a galaxy far, far away.
That's not true.
That is very true.
First of
There's
all,
not enough.
Think about how it would feel for you right now if someone was said, hey, the Tupac motherfucker. It's a whole race of Tupacs, and every single black person was Tupac. Think about how you would feel. There's no one, even if it was the best black person, the best half black person, Barack Obama. Even if someone used one black person for all black people,
right?
That's racist. And you saying Chewbacca,
depending upon how cool the black person was.
No, that doesn't matter.
Nah. So if you just if somebody's like, damn, you a Prince motherfucker.
So
I'd be like, cool, Prince. Cool.
We're treating Wookiees as monoliths, so we can't be doing that.
That's actually kind of a sort of a salient point. But at the same time, but think about it, it would feel good at first, but then if you walked into a place and you realize that their word for black person was Prince, that's fucking racist. Like, I mean, that's fucking racist. So you can't do this.
Well,
his name is Kanaka, Black Chrysanthemum. There are other Wookiees. There's a whole race of Wookiees.
All right, I have 2 questions for you. Have we seen in films Planet of the Wookiees?
Yes.
Have we ever seen a Planet of Niggas on films in the Star Wars? Exactly. Continue with our instant reaction.
What is that? But what does that have anything to do with
So there's not enough black people for me to be racist in a galaxy far, far away.
No, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that there are black people, and you have to make
How
the
many?
decision.
5?
You have to make the decision to treat the Wookiees as individuals. Now say his name. Okay, just move on with the fucking shit.
We got some context about why Osha and Mae are the way that they are, but there's still something there, right? They start the fire, but like the whole thing explodes. Does that make any sense? So it's a nice little, okay, we kind of know what happened, but we really don't. And I think for the mystery aspect of the show, it really enticed me. I was very intrigued by that.
This show actually gave us some mystery.
Yeah.
Because we obviously, I don't think that it was Mae who started the fire.
Neither do I.
Well, it's definitely not Mae. I already feel like I know who the Sith motherfucker is.
You do?
Yeah. I'm putting my cash down. I think it's Indara.
Mm.
Because Indara was looking at when they was on the ship and they were testing like their midichlorians and how force sensitive she was. Soul was like really trying to connect with Osha, like, oh my gosh, like you're so special, whatever. And Indara was like locked in. She was just like, you, like, cut all the fucking shit. I need this power.
Is it possible that there's something about the kids themselves that the Jedi either find threatening or that the Jedi feel like they have to have?
Absolutely, because if you remember, at one point, the Jedi are the reason that they're hiding the kids is because the Jedi say, like, this is against, like, galactic law to be raising Force-sensitive children. So I'm just like, wait, why do they have a monopoly on, I guess, essentially training children? And then their 2 moms, it's like, wait, how did they create these 2? It almost seemed like an Anakin situation of like, how did these 2 very, very force-sensitive children come to be? Because even the witch coven, it seems like not only are they already powerful than the rest of like their peers, it seems like they're training them to be like, oh, one day they might be stronger, more force sensitive than any Jedi. That's what I got.
There's a lot of like plot and emotional shorthand that comes in the show that I actually think is like really good and advanced, because the way that their mothers were talking about each other when they were fearful of the Jedi taking them away, and their one mother's like, well, what if I were to tell them how you created them? Because like I carried them, but you created them. And like that's like allusions to like the living force and how Anakin was made and all those things. But we can only discern that by how she like derisively said that to her.
Are they clones?
And this gives me the opportunity to go into a segment I like to call Shit I Heard Online. Shout out to Alan over at Generation Tech. If you guys are not watching Generation Tech, I'll tell you one thing right now. Of all the Star Wars experts I have ever watched, Alan from Generation Tech is the top tier Star Wars expert. I've learned.
Wait, is this a motherfucker you tried to show us who's like, this is the economy?
The economy of the ships.
Oh, these are those 2-hour deep dives on YouTube. Yeah.
No. It's not necessarily always 2 hours with him, but he just has such a grasp of Star Wars. It makes me feel like I never read any Star Wars books.
So we're launching our YouTube channel, and you're taking one of the first videos to promote another YouTube channel?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Appreciate you.
Let me tell you something about you kids real quick. See, you like the problem
no free
is,
promo for me.
Like the problem is that you think that's bad. See, if I say what's up to him, maybe his channel sees our channel. All of these things are together. It's not about Jomi.
Honestly, that's Van's Grandmaster Kaz moment. He's just like showing love, showing support.
It's a big internet, Jomi.
Yeah.
It's a big internet. Let your inside insecurity let it out.
Insecurity is
let it out.
Like, what I'm saying?
Let it out. Let it out, Jomi.
Is that how you touch the neutral zones?
Shut up. So anyway, what he was saying, if I can fucking get this shit out, what he was saying is that, to Steve's point, it's a possibility that these kids are creations of the living force. And there's also a possibility that, shout out to him, that them being twins would actually create a force dyad.
If they say dyad, I'm gonna never watch the show.
And then
come
them
on, man.
creating a force dyad, that could be potentially dangerous for the Jedi because the force dyad has, obviously we know, has very specific power, and that this is the reason that they felt like they needed to either make these kids Jedi or to split them up. So there are reasons to why 4 Jedi would come way to this planet to approach this coven of witches and try to extract these kids from their care. And those reasons might have to do more with more than them just being force sensitive.
Right. And it.
Shout out to Alan, Generation Tech. Shit I heard online.
Shout out Alan.
It was very interesting because like I kind of feel like both of those kids were getting pulled in between a rock and a hard place because I'm like, I don't really know how great they were off with the witches anyway. It feels like they were, well, because they clearly know that they're very powerful and they're like using them for their witchly demises, but also like having motherly love and care like bestowed upon them. But like they're also like kind of using them, and it felt a little exploited.
The witches are using the kids?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other children around, which it seems like Osha feels deprived. They can't go out of the city limits. So I think that was another thing where if Osha is like our Luke Skywalker Rey character, when Soul is like, oh, there's other force sensitive children, Osha lights up and she's just like, what? And I do think, to your point, Steve, well, I think the Coven probably is better than the bureaucracy of the Jedi. I do think the show did do a very good job of being like,
yeah, like we're exiled. Like we're not exactly welcome anywhere, but in this small community.
It did feel a little cultish. It did feel like Osha was
it's
like
a coven of witches.
Well, which like as cool as that is, which like I love some cool witch shit.
You
in
do
Star
love
Wars.
cool witch.
Osha can't go on a field trip.
So this is the thing, though. I think that's why the episode is working for me. Also, Osha obviously represents the part of Star Wars that we have always come for, which is exploration. I want to see the galaxy. It's a big galaxy. You can traverse it. I'm stuck here on this planet. I want to get off this place. I've heard about the Jedi. I want to be a Jedi. It's almost as if the Force is directly messaging to them in different ways.
Yeah.
Like the Force being this grand, huge, amazing thing that everyone has access to. Maybe it's speaking to Osha in a way that makes her want to go out and feel the Force and see things in a different way. And maybe it's making Mae, who seems to obviously be more connected to the dark side, maybe it's giving her that need to protect, that need for connection, that need for passion, that need for, all of the stuff that Anakin had that wouldn't allow him to get away from who he was. And to see that in the two characters was interesting.
And I think that's perfectly balanced with Soul. Like I've rewatched the first 2 episodes and I really kind of actually love what the character of Soul is doing as like an emotional like center point for Osha. Because with this context of knowing that like he is like driven by his emotions a lot more than almost any other Jedi that we've seen, and he's very tender and he's very sweet to her and like wants to like help her and never wants her to feel like fear and all these things. Like it's a beautiful little turn from him in this flashback to see that he wants to like offer like a tender hand to her.
Stop the cap, bro.
What are you talking about? I legally have to play Stop the Cap
Soul
though.
after this.
Oh,
yeah,
you're awful.
Here's the thing. You know what it felt like when like Soul like handed Osha the lightsaber? It felt like when like a cop would go to the hood and he's just like, "Hey, Sonny,
all right, man.
You want to be a police officer when you grow up?" And like, I was like, "Dog," because here's the thing. If I get handed a lightsaber as a kid, I don't care if the Jedi are cops. I'm like, bro, I get one of these. I'm like, dog, like Soul ain't shit.
I was curious. I was like, did he put the safety on that thing? Like, he
Yeah.
just gave that child.
Like, she was like looking at, I was like, yo, bro.
I'll be honest with you. If she'd have fucking hit the lightsaber and it would have went through her head, that's a funny.
Remember when you saw like Luke just look down the barrel of one of those things in the first one?
So where you from? The cops would come and give guns to children?
Here's the thing. I've seen like, honestly, I should have used the army because it was like it's like when the army recruiters would be like in the school and they would like target the kids who really didn't have no future. You just like, hey, you son.
God damn, that's crazy.
What?
Wow.
Every time I would walk by the army recruiter, they would be like, "Hey, son, have you thought about what you're gonna do after graduation?" And I'd be like, I'm going to college. What? You know, it's
Damn.
me. It's me, Van Lathan from football. You know, I'm going to college. Why y'all keep talking to me?
It was fucked up because the Army recruiters, like, sometimes they'd be in the lunchroom, and sometimes I'm like, why y'all always putting a table next to most of the black people? Like, why can't, like, why? I'm like, why are you putting it against the rich white folks?
Yeah.
Like, that's how Soul felt.
They see him walking by, fresh bodies.
He's like, you want a Hellcat?
Yeah.
You want a Hellcat?
Fresh bodies. I see you. All I see is Afghanistan.
Used to be a Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it did.
Used to be a Camaro.
Honestly, I won't lie. Once I got to college, I was a little jealous because you would get, like, the guys who would have just got out the Army be like, yeah, my education paid for it. Look at all y'all broke motherfuckers. Like, and I was like, hey, man, it's cool, bro.
They always had a lot of electronics because they went to the duty free or the PX, whatever it's called, where you buy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, like, my boy, my cousin Rara, shout out to my cousin Rara, who worked his ass off to be a Marine. He was up over 300 pounds, like 320. He got down to inside the regulations and then came back diesel. But we didn't even care that he came back in such good shape. Man, he had all kinds of stereo equipment and all of this stuff, all kinds of stuff that he bought from, I don't know, was it the PX?
I grew up on the PX.
The PX, okay.
Yeah, because you can get all, they give everybody, like, super, super cheap groceries. And then, to your point, as a kid, I'd be like, look at the PlayStations.
Yep.
They're like 20-30% off.
Yep.
I'm like, this.
He had a PlayStation that you had to put a special disc in to make it play.
Oh.
So the PlayStation was from Japan. So in order to make the PlayStation play, you had to put a disc in it.
And it changed the region lock thing,
and then put the game in it. Man, shout out to Rara.
Wait, did he have the PS before all, like the PlayStation before all y'all?
Yeah.
If the Jedi offered you a PlayStation and a lightsaber,
I would go to the Jedi, whatever. I will say this. We have to talk about the fact that the copification of the Jedi is going so far that we need a good Jedi or awesome story after this. Because
not all cops story?
I guess. I'll be honest with you. I'll just be honest with you, bro, because they fucking with me with the Jedi now, man. At this point, the Jedi are not just cops. They're like bad cops. And I have a feeling that we're going to find out that the Jedi killed all of those witches. I have a feeling that that's going to be... I definitely do. Because I do not think that Mae by herself started a fire that ravaged through the entire coven and killed... There was some reason
crazily
that the Jedi wanted all of those witches dead. And another hint to that is in the way the character of Mae is coded. She's killed 2 Jedi, but they are not playing her like a villain at all.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, we're going to find out that they killed all of those people. Yeah. And besides the great Padawan slaughter of whenever that happened, this will be like one of the worst things that I've seen the Jedi do, period. Definitely on screen, besides,
It seems like Soul, even in the present timeline, understands that something happened on that planet.
Yeah.
Because he's not just like, oh, Mae's evil. He's just like, he's not saying she might have had a point, but it's kind of like something happened there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where, because I'll be honest, once they embarrassed my man Torben, when like Torben was like the rookie and what's her face, like.
Yeah, him with a normal face and not a terrible wig was jarring to see.
Here's the thing, I was like, that white boy probably went crazy. And Mae was just like, not on my watch, and I think that's probably how it started.
So Joy Turner-Smith is in this. She is the coven leader. What was her name?
Mother Anicia?
Mother Anicia.
I thought she was great.
Really good.
I thought she was fantastic. And something that she was able to do in the show, to me, is like there was a heart and an authenticity and a strength to her performance that sometimes I feel like these newer Star Wars shows, don't really get into the humanistic part of these portrayals. But I thought that she really did a fantastic job and really anchored the entire episode.
I thought her explanation of the thread was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to seeing like the force. She's like, well, there's also the thread, which is the Force, right?
It's their interpretation.
There's interpretation of it. And I thought it was nice. It's like one thread, you weave them together, and I was like, oh, this is a nice little. Never heard it like that before. That's pretty cool.
Nah, she wasn't talking about shit. Like, it was so funny when she was just like, he's like, these other motherfuckers, they use the Force. The Force is bullshit. We use the thread. And then she started describing the thread. I'm like,
whoa,
sounds like the Force to me.
Yeah, it is the Force. They just call it the thread.
But she was trying to be like, hey, yo, Osha Mae, that Force shit is dumb as hell.
You know what? It's crazy.
It's
a black woman. It's crazy. You're like, it's a black woman. It's giving her black ass explanation of some black ass shit. And Charles said, fuck her. Okay, Charles.
We know how you feel.
Because I feel like y'all are lying on
Turning Point USA. Charles, this is Charles Holmes from Turning Point USA. Fuck the thread. Charles Whitlock.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do
Charles,
that.
fight back.
Don't do
You
that.
don't like what they have to say. You don't like what they have to say. You don't like the thread.
I don't know if I like this episode, which probably...
Let me tell you something. I was thinking about this. If we had to give the Force another name, because they say it's the thread, like what name would you give the Force?
The juice.
That's what I love that.
The juice.
The juice is, yeah.
The juice.
Like Anakin, you just see him as he's like, yo, that motherfucker juicing like crazy.
But it's funny though, because if they were to say that, just think about it. Like Yoda would be looking at
the dark juice.
The juice is very strong with him.
And then Anakin's out of control. The juice is loose.
Let me stop.
The juice is loose. That's
where I was going.
Yeah, like OJ.
That was going like 90 is what Star Wars came out in 77.
Kind of like OJ a little bit.
You know,
Anakin is definitely like OJ. Like you thought you knew him, like you didn't. He came back for redemption, but did he?
I'm just thinking about with the used car commercials that Anakin would star in.
Hertz
commercials. Hold on, you guys. Anakin's story is very parallel to OJ's story. It's the same story.
Honestly, even in Revenge of the Sith, I was a little bit like, go off, motherfucker. Like, like when he came back as Darth Vader, I was
strength and stability to my new empire.
So
this is crazy.
Felt the same way. So you felt. Okay, what? So
I mean, here's the thing. I don't condone anything.
But you understand.
I was just like, finally, one of our brothers gets treated like the white man, gets off. What?
All right, we'll be right back.
Okay, I'm with it. But
you are, man. I remember black people were just like,
oh, I mean. The OJ thing is one of my worst moments. I was in high school. I went around doing a little dance.
Whoa!
That's one of my worst moments. Like I was completely, rest in peace, Johnny Cochran. I was completely indoctrinated by the trial. Like I was walking around like, look at there was literally girls walking down the hall crying. There was.
What?
Because like there was girls walking down the hall crying because it was like we had. In Louisiana, the diversity is black and white. It was white people and black people. And
you were shimmying next to the white women crying?
I was going nuts. Oh shit, we on. Stop it, Van!
That
is not fucking funny. And then the only thing that got me right is when I got home, my dad was there. He's like, hey, you see OJ, they cut him loose, huh? And I was like, yeah. My dad was like, yeah, he killed them 2 people.
No manches.
My dad was like, yeah, son, I want you to be careful. Because that ain't that's not,
That don't happen.
My dad was like, yeah, he killed them 2 people, though. So I know how y'all feeling, but just, think about Jesus.
Think about Jesus.
That's what my dad would always say. Whenever you was getting off on something you were supposed to get off on, hey, think about Jesus.
That's what you should have told homeboy when Porzingis almost got hurt. I was like, dog, that's bad juju.
Jesus
That's bad juju.
Praying on downfalls there.
Crazy.
All right, let's get back to the show. Okay, so Joy Turnsmith's performance great. Was there an understanding from you guys as you were watching the show, the reasons that they might have had such distrust and mistrust of the Jedi? Were the Jedi inherently a threat to the way of the life of the Coven? Did the Jedi sort of represent structure, bureaucracy, the cops of the galaxy, control of the Republic? Are there a group of people out there that view the Republic, even in this High Republic period, just the way we would come to view the Empire.
Oh, I absolutely think that it's coded that way because A, the coven isn't that big, right? And in most of Star Wars storytelling, we don't really, when we think about the Force, we think about the Jedi. And I think what this does is the Witch Coven, I get the sense that they're living way removed from the center of the galaxy, almost in hiding.
The public, their planet is not under Republic rule.
Yeah, so that's even why they're mad when the Jedi show up, because the Jedi are like, they're like, why are you fucking here? We're not even under your laws. They even say, like, hey, we can raise Force-sensitive kids if you fucking want.
You're out of your jurisdiction.
You're out of your jurisdiction. And the Jedi are like, motherfucker, our jurisdiction is everywhere. We don't care. Even when it's almost sinister where I'm like, oh, they had 4 Jedi come here. They have this big-ass ship. And then they have these 2 kids walk into the ship alone. I was a little bit like, they're almost indoctrinating the kids a little bit.
Almost, no, they certainly are.
Yeah, so I was just like, if I was one of the witches, I'd be like, yeah, fuck these.
But think about a rule that allows someone to come take your kid if they're Force sensitive.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Your kid's Force sensitive, so that means they have to become a Jedi, which means they have to disconnect from you, which means you don't get to love your kid if at 2 years old or 3 years old, someone somewhere in Coruscant detects that they are Force sensitive. One day a guy shows up, walks away with your daughter or son.
Yeah.
I mean, even Soul, it was a tender moment, but it was almost sad because when Soul is talking about like, well, they took me away when I basically was a kid and he barely remembers his parents. I'm like, why is this supposed to be good? Soul? Like, it's right. That's bad.
And that's a very interesting moment because when she's like failing the test on purpose and Carrie-Anne Moss is like visibly annoyed and she kind of like there's a subtle like look to Soul to know that like, okay, you're good with the kids. You're the one that's like going to actually like give him a soft hand and like actually come to our side. Like Soul almost feels a tad used and manipulated in this because he's the emotional one. He's the one that like can like play to their better emotions and like, you know, get the kids on their side. And none of the other Jedi are just kind of looking on and being like, all right.
That actually to me is the most important scene in this episode. When she's attempting to fail the test.
Yeah.
She's been ordered to fail the test and he won't let her fail.
Yeah.
Now, there are 2 ways you can look at it. One is you can look at it as that she has intrinsic value because she's Force sensitive. And so, but him not letting her fail already establishes a master Padawan relationship. It establishes the relationship of someone who is a caretaker. He is able to trick her into using her talent. Even still, double-edged sword. He's making her, in a sense, he's doing it so that she ends up doing something that it doesn't seem like her family wants her to do.
Right, but it proves that she can do it.
But it proves that she can do it, and he knows that she actually wants to.
Yeah.
So in the moment that he's like, oh, no, blah, 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 he's tricking her, he can see the potential in her even if she's trying to hide it, which is essentially what you want from any mentor or master or like, you know, upper type.
No.
You don't want that.
I was kind of on what's-her-face, the Darth Maul shoddy side. Like, I was just like, why are we letting these kids don't know shit? Here's the thing. I would not let my kids go to the Jedi. The Padawan do not have a great history. Most of them don't make it out. So, like, why? I don't care if a kid is just like, oh, one day I want to be a Jedi. I'm like, motherfucker.
Well, I feel like in that period of time, they probably did have a good, like, record of you know, making it to adulthood.
Peaceful time.
Maybe.
Yeah. Peaceful time.
And
by the way, not everyone has their different jobs in the Jedi, right? So there's literally a group of Jedi that all they go do is make plants grow.
So
that's their job.
I'm shipping off my kid to be a space monk accountant or gardener? Fuck no.
You could be.
No.
A librarian?
It could be your kid could be responsible for a whole planet of trees.
All right, so let's put it this way. Also, why it's problematic.
Librarian.
You know,
you said librarian.
I definitely said librarian.
Okay. Sorry.
That's got librarian.
Whoa. What's going on?
What's going on? Midboy, let's in on
Kerm,
this.
you're behind. Did I say librarian or Liberian?
I heard Liberian.
Damn.
Tough. That's tough. Nino, that's just me representing for my African homies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to my Liberian homies.
Yeah, they got the best jollof.
That's not true. Don't do
So-
that. Don't do that.
But Kerm, first of all, Kerm,
we still haven't gotten the Joloff.
Kerm, don't. If you're gonna get involved, then get involved, bro. Because Jomi already brought the Joloff around. He brought the Joloff around, and we tasted the Joloff, and the Joloff was fucking hidden. It was hidden. The Joloff was so good it made me mad at Steve because I thought to myself, think about the Joloff I could have been eating for all of these years if not for Steve. If not for Steve's people and what they did, I'd have been had all of this Joloff. Slavery cost me so much rice. You know what I mean? And so I was pissed off about it. But I'll tell you something else. You weren't there. We haven't had your Joloff. We haven't smelled your Joloff. We haven't seen your Joloff.
Wait, did we invite Kerm to the Meat Night Boys?
Was Kerm invited?
Kerm was absolutely invited.
Kerm
was
you got
to text to the thing. No, come on.
Why
you did not come to the thing because you didn't want to show your Joloff.
I got invited at the last minute.
So did Isaiah. And guess what?
Isaiah came through.
Isaiah came through.
Shout out Isaiah. Our Celtics are doing well. Anyway,
Our Celtics. Have some shame. Have some shame.
Bring back shame in 2024.
Okay, look. So we're doing a Juneteenth cookout. And if you want to come by, it's an opportunity to come by and do the Joloff taste-off.
Look at this dude.
Sit down, Kerm,
you shouldn't even be celebrating Juneteenth, and neither should you.
What?
You shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth.
So you should celebrate I gotta come to work.
All right, you shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth.
Me and Steve got to show up to work. We're not on the same level, man.
That's for FBA. Foundational Black Americans. That's our. Y'all trying to get him.
I can tell he got to record higher learning after this, bro.
He's geared up.
Damn.
Because y'all all try to get in on our holidays, and then y'all have your own holiday. You be dancing around, and we try to come dance, and you're like, no. This is for us.
When has that ever happened?
No, I'm telling you, that's what happens. Like Jomi Nigerian, they'll have their own holiday, and I'll be like, yeah, Nigerian Day.
I will say,
they carry last.
In fairness, Jomi,
what's up?
When we would have the African homies in school, they would be like to the black. He's like, we're not alike.
We're not. Yeah, we're not.
But chill. Like that did happen.
And now it's Juneteenth, and y'all want to come and lecture slide. Fuck all that. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking, brother. I'm joking. I'm playing.
So also, but do we think? Because if I'm like the mothers of this coven, I do feel a certain type of way where it's like you raise these girls, they're force sensitive, they're about to be really powerful, they're about to invest back in their own community.
Absolutely.
And then the Jedi come take them. Because here's the thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to give your kid up.
Osha, like here's the thing. Osha and Mae, I'm like, damn, we could have two of the, I don't know, the biggest midichlorian count motherfuckers in the galaxy, and they're just gonna be two random Jedi. Like, here's the thing. The other thing when you go into the Jedi is, unless you Anakin Skywalker, you just basically a scrub. At least with the Witch Coven, they
why, you say these things with such certainty that are just not true. Well, so unless you're Anakin Skywalker, you're a scrub?
All right, name me someone that's not Anakin or Obi-Wan that was getting busy.
There's so many Jedi.
Kit Fisto.
There's so many.
I mean,
motherfuckers got packed up within the span of a few years. Okay?
There's a lot going on. It's like we don't have time to get into it.
If they were so powerful, because if we're being honest, right now, these are the most powerful Jedi right now.
Who are?
This era. By the time we get to our era, these motherfuckers are fat, they're washed, they're bureaucrats, they not ready. Darth Maul comes in and fucking Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were like struggling with that motherfucker.
Qui-Gon is old by the time he's fighting Darth Maul.
What? No, don't do that.
We've already proven this. He's like 65 years old in the movie.
Supposedly, but he's so connected to the Force, he should be good.
Nah, he ran out of gas. Like that was like Luca.
Nah, man. Nah, no. Let's go back to this. Why y'all always, when a fucking Jedi gets washed, y'all always give them like, nah, but you don't understand. They was having an off day. They were having knee issues. I'm like, either you that guy or you not.
Well, obviously, Qui-Gon wasn't that guy, but he had done a lot in his career to up to that point. I think it's unfair to say. Yeah, he had a great career as a Jedi. I think it's unfair to say that either you're Anakin or you're a scrub. The Jedi,
that's crazy.
I mean, here's the thing. If the Jedi were really busy, like if they were really in the gym, locked in, Clone Wars wouldn't have gone down like that.
All right,
Well,
bro.
okay, but that's the whole point is that they're not, right? That's the
Yeah.
entire
So they
the entire
scrubs!
exists
So
that
they're
not.
scrubs!
They're
That's not
scrubs.
the point.
It's not
They're
scrubs. I
like-
feel like there's a middle we can figure
There's
out.
some Jedi who are elite Jedi. There's some Jedi who are not. It's
Mace
like
Windu got
any other
packed up.
thing.
It's
What, Mace Windu
Are
got
you
packed up like that was a sneak
By the
attack.
Emperor.
No,
By the
he,
way.
nah, it
Didn't
wasn't.
sorry,
George
not
Lucas,
the- yeah,
didn't
no,
George
yeah.
Lucas say that Mace won that fight and then what's his name?
is Mace still
Palpatine was
alive?
wilding?
So he didn't win.
All right, whatever.
All right, bro,
Look,
you're not serious.
So for the rest of the Coven of Witches, they're
Oh,
force
wait.
sensitive too, right?
You keep saying witches. Are these like the Dathomir witches? Like are these
No,
like
I don't
No,
think
like it alludes to it, but again, it's like so long ago that like it probably isn't the same
It's not
because
that long,
those
it's
were like
100
those are
years.
like
100
that was
years.
like a galaxy away.
This gonna be like a sister coven?
That's what I'm thinking.
Wait, is the
I'm assuming that there are more witches in Star Wars than just the witches.
With,
in
yeah, with
Dathomir.
different covens and different sort
was
of
she
yeah.
was the other
Alignments.
one, the Spikes, was she like a night not
Yeah.
a night sister, but
No, I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, like of that ilk.
yeah, because I was wondering, I'm like, could this be an early offshoot where it seems like they're the two leaders?
That's what made me think about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there might be like different. Like we have the Night Sisters, to our coven of which is Dathomir, and we have.
But they don't
this.
refer to the Force as a thread. They don't like
Yeah, but I
have
mean,
those
like,
types of
that's
rituals that we've seen before.
way in the,
Yeah.
in the future.
But they
you know?
do have these witches do need to work on their marketing because if I'm Osha, I'm gonna be real. These motherfuckers got lightsabers and we still using bow and arrows and staffs and shit.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And that's the
Yeah,
whole
that's
thing
pretty
where
cool.
I'm like, when you got like the force or the thread or whatever, you need to come up with a weapon that is as cool as a lightsaber.
Mm.
Because even when the Jedi are acting like cops, I'm like,
Well, the Jedi are very old, and their use of lightsabers was there's an evolution there. They started off using swords,
Mhm.
and they fought with swords, and the swords were force sensitive, and they would use the swords weren't force sensitive. They would use the force to wield the swords. Then there were like proto sabers, and then after the proto sabers, they got a little bit better. Then they got to a point where the lightsaber technology was there where they can use it. So
I mean,
Jedi been
but
around
like,
a lot,
could
thousands
the
and
witches
thousands.
have like kyber crystal infused boxing gloves? You know what I'm saying? Or
What?
Blicky with kyber crystal bullets. Here's the thing. I'm thinking, because here's the thing.
Nunchucks again.
If the witches were like to Osha, be like, yo, you get a Glock when you're 18 full of kyber crystals, I'd be like, what a motherfucker with the sword gonna
What
do?
does a kyber crystal Glock mean to you, Charles? Like, what does
It
it
got
do?
a bunch of like force sensitive kyber crystals in it.
You're
You know
gonna
how
shoot the
expensive-
kyber crystals at people?
so,
Yeah.
like, kind of like
Wouldn't it make more
Ezra,
sense? Wouldn't it
right?
make more sense to use the kyber crystal to power the actual, like the Death Star?
Yeah, it's a
and
power
shoot
source.
the
Oh,
beam?
yeah.
You don't want to shoot little shards of kyber. Kyber is very rare.
That is true. Wait, so you use the kyber crystal to power the gun?
Yeah,
Mhm.
pew pew pew.
Mhm.
Ooh, the bullet should be what? What do they use? The Mandalorians?
Beskar?
Beskar bullets.
Beskar's
Bro,
expensive though.
you would be a terrible, terrible, terrible head of state or leader. You got the most expensive military ever.
Yeah.
You're gonna shoot Beskar bullets.
This is that Chris
Beskar
Rock
is
big
very
bullets for
rare and
$5,000.
Well, this is
bro.
like 100 years before, so maybe Beskar, they don't know. Maybe they wasting it. It's like how we use gas. It's just like they was pumping niggas
in
with
the day when
Beskar,
they-
and they get up there like, damn, we used it all.
This is back when gasoline was like 25 cents.
Yeah.
So, once again, enjoyed the episode. I will say this, though. I will say that the kids here were, and I don't mean to be a dick about it, but the kids here were kind of a weak link. Now, the acting of the kids wasn't fantastic. I mean, it's just, I have to be honest with you, they weren't fantastic. Although something new happened. So you got Pluck on one side.
Mhm.
Osha was Pluck.
Right.
I figured out that you can neutralize Pluck with darkness.
Oh, wow.
If you have a group of kids and one of them is plucky as fuck, all you need is a dark kid.
It's like some Damien Omen kid, some like,
Yeah. So if let's say kid Leo was plucky, if there was somebody that she was with, right,
right.
that has some darkness in them,
And it's
it
just like,
undercuts the pluck. It balances the pluck.
you need
That's
an evil
why-
kid.
That's why you like Damian Wayne so much.
Damian Wayne.
That
That's
is why you
exactly
like
why you
Damian
like
Wayne so
Damian Wayne
much.
so
Damian Wayne, he balances
hate that
the
kid.
pluck
I like him.
of other Robins.
Yeah, but here's my issue is I feel like Mae, and I always feel like this with like, you know, you ever meet a kid where you like, damn, you got some bad fucking vibes, yo. Like, do you ever meet a kid
Oh,
just
yeah.
like you got some like fucking
Yes.
just real
Okay,
evil
real-
ass
yeah,
motherfucking
yeah,
vibes,
yeah.
bro.
Okay, so look, this
What?
wait, hold on.
Am I lying?
Hold on. This is gonna be this is gonna be the most controversial story I've ever told.
Oh no.
This is gonna be because I'm gonna tell this story, and there are gonna be people out here who know that I'm talking about their kids. I'm not gonna mention any names, but I always told you I wouldn't hide this. I love you, but I'm still watching you. One of the younglings that is around in my family, could almost be a nephew. One day, his brother got in trouble. And I was like, yo, I gotta tell your dad and your mom about what you did. I have to. Because normally when I'm watching the kids, anything goes. Doesn't matter. We eat what we want. We go where we want. We do whatever we want.
Okay.
But
Nothing irresponsible, just like we're here to have fun.
It depends on your version of irresponsible.
Okay.
I'm the uncle, whatever you want, like what you want to do, we do it. Like have fun. Hey, have fun. We do the stuff. Okay.
All right.
And he did something bad, and it was something that, okay, we gotta tell your parents about this, right? And the whole day he was scared. It's like, Uncle Van, no. I'm like, gotta tell him. I can't not tell him. Uncle Van, no. His little brother, number one, was so giddy about him being scared. He kept going up to him going, oh.
How old was this child?
One is 3, one is 7. Okay?
So the 3-year-old is giddy.
So happy. He's like, ooh. Every time we would forget about it and have some fun, he'd be like, don't forget, you gonna be in trouble.
Jesus.
You
that's Mae
gonna
for
be
sure.
in trouble. You gonna catch a whooping. I'm like, get off his back. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Did you ever think at this point, I don't even want to tell because a 3-year-old being annoying about it?
It almost got me out of it. It almost got me to a point where I was like, you know what? His little brother is giving him so much of the business that I don't want to tell now. But something was broken, and I could not tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I told you not to do something. You did it anyway. I could not tell. So parents come home. I tell them, and there's going to be, we're from Louisiana, there's going to be corporal punishment, right? I'm like, man, you don't even got to do, I'll replace, no. He always breaking stuff. He blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. And I'll never forget it. He was getting a spanking, and his younger brother was looking at him like this.
Yikes.
No!
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, what's so funny?
Waving you off is crazy.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Waving you
so
off.
the whole time, and he's over, he's like, his brother's walking away, crying. He's like,
That's nasty.
and I go up to my brother, I'm like, yo, man, I just want to let you know, I think something wrong with this little nigga. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm like, this is also the time when Dexter was popping.
Oh.
So like,
bro.
I was like, I think something wrong with this little nigga, bro. I don't like. It wasn't regular. I know sometimes I was like, and he was like, oh, his brother got whooped, and he laughed, huh? I was like, you've seen it? And he's like, yeah. And I started like hiding knives around him. He's older now, and he's fine. He likes to fight, but like, but he likes to fight. I'm sorry, he likes to fight. But I saw the darkness in him, and I kept him close.
You were Obi-Wan. You were just like...
Yeah, I kept him close. Made sure I got him the presents that he liked.
Right.
Made sure, like, you know what I mean? I catered to him a little bit, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what was going on, and to be honest with you, still not sure.
Jury's still out?
A lot of game left.
Jury's still out. But no, look, I thought that the balance of the kids worked really well, but it wasn't the finest performances I've seen by young actors.
Do you think it was, because I will say for this episode, what I did like, I like the structure of it. I love the narrative. I did actually think that, like, everything that about the witches and the Jedi was very, very interesting. But I was like, the flashback episode almost seemed like it came a little too early for me, because it almost cut a lot of the mystery out, where I think it was teased that these 4 Jedi basically had done something corrupt on this planet, and maybe Mae definitely does have a point about going after them. But after this episode, I'm like, this is still a mystery show where the central mystery to me has mostly kind of been like, we know the Jedi probably did that shit. We probably know Mae, if she's not innocent, at least isn't that guilty. And even whoever the Sith person is, I'm looking around where I'm like, if the Sith person is a new character, that'd be wild. So it's someone on the board. And I'm like, who would you cast as a Sith person who has the gravitas? And that's why I went to Carrie-Anne Moss. Where I'm like, because it's the trick of a pilot episode being like, you killed Trinity in the first episode. And then every single time they show Indara, there's like this little sinister edge to it. So I'm like, the mystery of this all isn't really as
The only
meaty
thing,
as I'd want.
the only thing that cuts against her being whoever this mystery dark force user is, dark side force user is that you see her die in the first episode, and this is years and years after. So she essentially would be living a double life between being a Jedi and being a dark force user, and then her apprentice would have essentially had to have killed her.
But you remember what Manny Jacinto had mentioned in episode 2, where it's like your master has gone to great lengths to hide his identity from you.
Yeah. So they don't even know. That's why I was just like, wait, so Mae doesn't even know
Who that is.
who it is.
But she's communicating with them after.
Wait, so
Correct.
So it couldn't be Indara.
So no, because I don't know if Indara is actually
dead.
Okay.
So Indara went back to her home planet, killed all her homies, then came back later, was like, yo, I can help you get the people who killed your people. One of them is actually me. Didn't tell her that, though. One of them is me. You
so I
remember
think
me.
Indara, because here's the thing.
It's a bit of a
might not
reach,
be
but-
Indara, but like the reason why I'm just like, there's some breadcrumbs there is because I'm like, wait, why are these four Jedi there? Once they see that these two powerful kids are there, that's a very Sith thing, being like, I don't want them to go to the Jedi.
Yeah.
What if I get one of these twins? Like, I actually do think that it makes sense that like a powerful Jedi would want basically these little Anakins. You know what I mean? It's almost like a Palpatine situation where it's like Palpatine lived a double life.
Yeah. A double life as a senator.
Yes.
Right.
Maybe it would be harder to do inside of the Jedi and being so close to them. But
the
I get
Jedi
it.
don't even, at this point, the Sith are so far
Why would they
away.
suspect anything?
They wouldn't, because it's just like, it's not like even, like Yoda's like, oh, it disturbs whatever. But like, these Jedi are like, we've been on top for so long. We're so fat. We're so like comfy. Would they even be able to sense that shit?
Look, you don't have to tell me when you've been on top for a long time, you want to change positions. It's tough.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about, Arjuna.
can you not?
Why would you do that? There
What?
was no need for that.
Arjuna laughed.
There was no need for
He
that.
normally never laughs at anything that I say, but that one got him. So you know what I'm saying?
You gotta play it where
that
it
one
lays.
got him. Look, I don't know if it's Indara, but I will say this. I think the episode coming at this time was important because I think this is the only mystery that we have. Okay? Like, there's not very much other mystery in this mystery show.
Not to say that we didn't necessarily need a mystery.
That's the whole genre
no,
they're
no.
going for.
I
It's not a-
suppose, but like
You suppose.
It's a mystery show.
It's a mystery show.
yeah, but like the mere fact that we have just added context rather than like the aha moment.
That counts as a glitch out.
What?
The fact that you asked,
Does the mystery show
does
need
the mystery
mystery?
show need mystery? That's a glitch out. I mean, I glitched out earlier. We got glitch out. That counts as a glitch out. You
We all
glitched out.
glitch out. Jomi was over there talking about Liberians, so
Is that a glitch out? Does that count as a glitch out?
I don't know.
I don't know, but that's a glitch out.
Okay.
You're like, we don't need any mystery in the mystery show, but finish making your glitched point. You
No,
glitched it.
that's fine. My lower third now is just glitched out.
You glitched.
You glitched.
Yeah, you glitched, but
They're looking at me like the glitch.
so then what do you feel like? What do you feel like if not a mystery, then what is the show?
It's not the fact that like it necessarily has to be stringing us along for that mystery entirely. I like the idea that this episode laid the groundwork for explicitly showing us the conflict between Mae and Osha, why she would have beef with the Jedi, and maybe a bit more of the added mystery of who killed all those witches and who our mystery master is. That's all that like is kind of moving along. But like she still has the mission. We still have to find out if Osha whether or not she'll actually become a Jedi or want to go back to that order or not. There are a lot of like plot elements that are still kind of just up in the air that we can still explore rather than focus on the what's and the whys necessarily.
See,
if that makes sense.
That to me, it does make sense. In all seriousness, that to me is what the show has become. It's not about who's killing these Jedi. It's about why.
Yeah.
And that is, and Ben fucking Lindbergh said this.
Yeah, it's not a whodunit, it's a why done it.
It's a why done it.
Are the characters interesting enough yet for even like average audiences to care? Because I do think I was like thinking about Andor. I'm like, the thing that actually Andor had was like Rogue One sets up kind of the tone, get Cassian, and then by the time we go back for Andor, they're not building just from the ground up. Where with the Acolyte, it's like, I haven't spent enough time with these Jedi to really give a fuck when they die, if they're evil or not. And I think that's going to be the challenge of the show, to make me care about Osha or Mae or Sol or Indara, because right now after 3 episodes, I'm still kind of like, who am I rooting for? Why should I give a fuck? Like,
I think that this what gets the show across the finish line for me is that while the exposition can be a tad clunky, maybe the acting is occasionally from different performers sometimes stiff, I really like the questions that they ask. I really like the ideas that they throw out, and I really like the small character moments that really count to make me care episode to episode. And like, it has its flaws, but like, I really like where the idea of this show can go. And especially after this episode, I'm still all the way in. Like, this is pretty great.
Does this feel more like a Star Trek show? And I don't actually use that as like anything against it. More so, it's like, even sometimes the style of the acting, sometimes how small this feels. Not in a bad way, just small in terms of...
If we had a whole episode of like trade negotiations, then we'd be talking more Star Trek. But...
Because even a lot of these actors don't feel like Star Wars actors to me.
Why you say that?
Because I feel like there are certain... To be a good Star Wars actor, you basically have to be very good at like getting through a lot of like heavy exposition and being charming enough to not really make me care. Like Oscar Isaac, even though he didn't have a lot to do, he was very good at that in The Force Awakens, where you're just like, his energy and charisma, like the Han Solo effect.
One note character though.
True.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to diss.
I mean, he didn't have a lot to do. But it's like, even a lot of these actors, these are all really, really talented, great dramatic actors. But it is funny sometimes watching them have to deliver a bunch of like gobbledygook. And I'm just like, oh, you're almost too talented to get through all of this, which is throwing me, because I'm just like, that's why in a good way, this doesn't necessarily sometimes feel like a Star Wars show. This feels like somebody trying to be like, how can we elevate a Star Wars show and give like the character, who's the actor who plays Sol?
Lee Jung-jae.
Yeah, like even when I'm not buying all the sciencey shit that he says, his eyes and the way he's talking to Osha and the emotion that he has, I'm just like, oh, this is what's carrying me.
So yeah, I think that the Acolyte is ambitious. It's ambitious in its aim and its goal to have a different take on the classic Star Wars story, and to use all of the characters and situations that we're familiar with in sort of a different way. I think a straight up whodunit might have been more accessible. But what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is they're trying to weave all of the concepts that we are familiar with. So, example, you say we're familiar with Cassian, right? So us being familiar with Cassian from Rogue One, you wonder what turns somebody into someone who is so absolutely devoted to their cause.
Yeah.
There's a brutality to his character in that movie, and a curtness that makes him almost not the typical Star Wars hero.
He was almost soulless, and the whole thing of that movie is like getting him to the point that he's willing to sacrifice himself.
And then when you come back to Andor, Obviously, we see other examples of that. We see what the cost of freedom of the galaxy is. We see what the Galactic Civil War has done to people. Here, I think the idea of the Jedi, which has been, endlessly played with and toyed with and explored and litigated, but also what harmony means for different people. Does harmony mean being a Jedi? Does it mean leaving the Jedi? Does it mean being a part of a familial witch coven where the Jedi can't get to you? Is it better off for Mae if she becomes a Jedi? When she's talking about, I want to leave and go explore the galaxy, normally in old Star Wars fare, we look at that and we'd be like, that's great. She wants to be a Jedi. That's awesome. But we're not so sure she should do that right now.
I mean, we don't even know. One of the smaller mysteries is we don't know why, unless I missed it, why Osha even left the order. Like, this is something where she was like wide-eyed. And it's like, it hasn't been that many years. So I'm like, what happened during her Jedi training to be like, fuck this?
So it's not as if the show isn't asking us questions, but it's asking us questions more about mythology right now than it is about the characters. And I understand how for some people, it's questioning the commonly held order of things. And I understand why for some people that might be a little bit hard to access because there hasn't been a lot of character work done in the show. It's not the type of show that it is.
No.
There hasn't been a lot of character work. Number one, you have one actress playing the lead, playing two parts. So that means that we can't spend a whole shit ton of time with Osha. We can't spend a whole shit ton of time with Mae because one actor playing two leads, we got to spend that time with both of them. So there hasn't been a lot of character work done, but there's been, if not world building, world questioning in a way that makes me like into it.
Do you think that it would be more successful, like if you take like Knives Out, the thing about the original Knives Out that I think centers, like grounds it, is that you have Daniel Craig, you have Benoit Blanc, who almost is like an audience surrogate where he can explain stuff, but he's just such a charisma magnet that it's just like basically throughout him, you are learning about all these characters where it's like, even now I'm like, who is the detective of this mystery story? Who is that person where like things get unwieldy that they are trying to figure out what is happening? Because it's kind of Soul.
It's not.
But it's not. And it's kind of Osha, but it's not.
It's the audience. Depends on the way you do your mystery. Sometimes you're right. It's easier. Sometimes you're looking at the mystery through the eyes of one character and you're going, And sometimes stuff is happening and it's just leaving you to wonder.
Because of The Wire even, like, it wasn't always McNulty. Like, a lot of times there was, like, different characters, but they always were like, all right, who is leading the audience through the mystery? And then the genius of that show is, like, the Barksdale organization would also have that central character where it's like they're trying to figure out something. And I don't know in the show, I'm like, who am I supposed to be, like, looking at in the frame when shit gets too complicated that makes me feel like, oh, I'm in safe hands and I'm, like, grounded in the mystery?
I get it. I enjoyed the episode. I thought all the questions about it are probably pertinent. The show is not clicking on all cylinders, but I do think that it's sparking. I realize that there's been a lot of mixed reaction to the show, but I can only be honest in that it's holding my attention.
What types of mixed reaction? Like, not the racist stuff, but like, what have you been seeing? Like,
the show is slow. It's not a true mystery show. It's not Star Warsy enough. It's different. I think it's one that we're gonna have to judge in its totality when it's all finished. But it's not a waste of space.
No, not at all.
It could certainly like peter out, but at this point, I think the jury's still out.
I mean, I hope the audience hears it, like, when I talk. Like, even though I'm not, the first 3 episodes, I'm not completely on board with the show, I haven't written it off. Like, there are tons of shows where I'm just like, I don't expect this to get any better, whatever. And, like, this show, I'm like, I'm still in my seat. I still kind of want to see what happens. And I do like the swings. Like, even when the witches don't work, I'm like, a witch coven that's talking about the thread and they can use the fucking force and shit.
Interesting.
I'm like, this is cool. I'm like, it's still cool. Like, hey.
All right. So look, last night,
why are you?
Many things.
The Boston Celtics triumphed over the Dallas Mavericks in
Despite
Boston.
Jason Tatum's.
Despite Jason Tatum's thrilling performance. By the way, all the Jason Tatum copium apologists, he's playing great. He was setting great screens, and he almost had a triple-double. If you watched that game and you thought, that's my lead dog right there, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But Boston's, it's a foregone conclusion right now that Boston's going to win the NBA championship.
Let's go.
So we all watched it together. It's Midnight Boys, the home of a dear friend of mine, very dear friend of mine, person I love him, love his family. There's something we have to talk about here. So earlier in the day,
Let's talk about it.
there was a conversation about whether or not we were going to all watch the game together. And I had actually forgotten that this friend had invited me over to watch the game. And so there was thoughts that we were going to come here to Spotify and watch the game together. Jomi said, hey, they're going to put the game on. Do you want to come watch? And I'm like, yes, I'll do it. Steve says, yes, I'm there. And Charles says, no, I can't do it. We understood why.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal.
Life stuff.
Life
We did have
stuff.
life stuff.
Life stuff happens. Then, this friend, who is one of the most successful movie producers of all time, it's the only way to say it, said, hey, Van, are you coming over for the game still? And I was like, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I'll come over, hang out with you, see the family, hang out with everybody. It's great. Great to see you. Come over. And I'm like, oh, I'm with the Midnight Boys today. Is it okay if the Midnight Boys, yes! Would love to hang out with the Midnight Boys. Can't wait. I have so many questions to ask. And by the way, he did.
He was
we
great.
had all
He was
kinds
awesome.
of nerd conversations. This guy's,
Thankfully, the hoes were not there. They would have been very scared.
it's like, whatever. He's married to one of my dearest friends as well. It's great. We had fun. So I go back to the Midnight Boys in the group text. And I say, hey, we can all hang out over at the Spotify studios. But just to let you know, blank blank has invited us to his house to come and watch a game. Charles immediately changes his mind.
Well, a couple things happened. First, shout out. Here's the thing. I'm about to give y'all some real nigga shit, bro. So a couple things happened. I'm real. I'm Hollywood as fuck now. First of all, I was dealing with life shit. But then after that, I had some, plans with like a nice woman that I've fallen through. So already my schedule is clearing up, right? Then I was just like, yo, y'all going to Blank's house? Are y'all going blank? And I was just like, if these niggas go without me and some shit is happening, I'm like, they're like, yo, Charles, guess what? Da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm about to pull the most Hollywood move fucking ever. I'm just like, I'm sliding through. I don't give a fuck. Y'all can judge me.
Here's the great thing. You could have just lied and been like, oh, hey, I just cleared up.
Charles had already met him, by the way, because he was at the birthday party.
No, but here's the thing. Also, too, I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm like, I really want to see how this nigga's living. I just gotta visualize it. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta see it
It's
for
a
myself.
great home.
That's crazy. Possible.
One-
It's
Fantastic
fine.
guy, yeah.
You guys, here's the thing. Is this my camera? Okay, is this my camera? I'm a fake ass nigga, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. I've been in LA, I've been watching. I'm not even real like that. I'm like, y'all gonna wear? Hell yeah.
Oh my
God
goodness.
damn. Y'all like, I'm not even gonna give y'all no excuses.
Why
I'm
would
like,
you-
because here's the thing. If we
This is
being
great.
real, I love the Midnight Boys.
Why would you
It was
give
just
the
like, yo,
people
we
that?
about to watch this shit at the office. I'm like, I gotta be at the office like 7:38 tomorrow. Fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
If you like, oh shit, we going to so-and-so's house. I was like,
You guys,
bro.
this is what I'm talking about. There's a new Coke Baby is done. Hollywood Homes.
Hollywood Homes.
Oh man, bro. Y'all don't even
Hollywood
understand.
Hollywood Coke Baby done. Everybody got to get on board
With Hollywood Homes.
for Hollywood fucking Homes. It was so funny.
Change up was
Kalika-
crazy.
Kalika sitting right next to me, and I'm like, Charles is coming now. She's like, of course he is.
Oh, here's the
She
thing.
knows.
You guys, here's the thing. I really did have life shit, but I was just like, damn, if I miss this, bro, I'm gonna look like, nigga, you could do that shit tomorrow. And I'm running home. I'm like, taxes can wait, bro.
And guess what? We had a fantastic time.
Lovely time.
Absolute
Lovely,
blast.
lovely time.
Had
Except
a-
for the part with the Celtics won.
except for
Like,
the-
no.
Yeah,
That sucks.
Hey, bro, Jason Tatum will get him next time, but Celtics.
Oh,
It's been a
another thing I
long
have to say. We'll never watch sports with Charles again.
Never.
And-
That
okay,
was
hold
the
on for a
worst
second. Hold on.
display
Let me tell you
I've
something. Let
ever
me tell you
seen.
something. Hold on for a second. We'll never watch sports with Charles again. Charles's contrarianism. Charles was one of the closest people in the world to me, and I get it. I understand it. It's a part of who Charles is. But you guys, Charles is the type of guy that you take to the LSU game, and Charles is like, "Let's go, Alabama!" I can't. In the sports setting, the contrarianism. It can't.
Well,
happen, bro.
it wasn't contrarian,
You-
though. Bro, yo,
let me tell y'all what
He's
really
committing to
happened.
bits you can't even imagine.
What really happened was that the whole room was rooting for one team, and
Charles is
was
just-
he was gleaning a lot of pleasure and watching us fail.
I'll tell you what,
which
though,
is
he wasn't the biggest hater in that room
No, he was not.
because sometime in the fourth quarter, Chris Stapps
Oh, that
fell
was
down.
nasty, bro.
that was
That was
crazy.
so
bad vibes. Bad, nah, bro.
Shout out to my nigga.
And we were all like, me and Van Mus was like, oh, no, man.
I don't want to see him get
I want
hurt.
to see him get hurt. There was one dude, he gonna rename nameless. He's not one of us, but somebody
No,
else
yeah.
who was
He's a
there.
great guy.
Stood
He's a
up,
great guy.
started clapping. He's like,
yes,
yeah, let's go. I'm like,
Let's
bro.
go. Like, whoa.
Had a
You
great
gotta,
time.
you gotta chill, bro.
Had a great time. Hollywood Holmes has been born. I can't wait. I love this. This is what I was hoping for you when you came out here. I want you because you
Bro,
got
it took 6-7 months. I was just like, bro, dog. Here's the thing. You guys, I've been telling you I'm gonna sell my soul, but I realized in Hollywood, you just can't do it all up front. You kind of have to cut it
Piecemeal.
in
Pieces,
Yeah.
dice it
So
out.
pieces of it.
You know what I'm saying?
because
Dole out.
you wanna dangle it until you can sell it for as much as you could give for it.
Yep.
All right.
You know what I mean? You want to dangle it. Then somebody comes through with a real offer, and all of a sudden, bam, Charles Holmes, Fox Nation show, 3 p.m.
Oh, right, bro. God damn, let's go. Like,
That's a wrap.
Fox Nation Plus, $8.99.
Tucker on Twitter.
Charles, Kane and Holmes coming in. Tomorrow, the Midnight Boys are back again to give you their reactions to the 3-episode premiere of The Boys. Also, tomorrow, House of R gives you their deep dive on The Acolyte. On Friday, Min Edition returns to give you their review of Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
On Friday,
undercutting us every
Mid-
time. He does this every show.
Inside Out
Every
2,
show.
okay? Next week, the Midnight Boys will be giving you 2 episodes, one on The Acolyte and one on House of the Dragon. Hold it.
Yeah.
We goated with Hold It. We goated
We need-
with Hold It. We goated with Hold It. We goated with Hold It. I said we goated with Hold It. We goated with Hold It. We goated with Hold It.
I don't like this.
Yeah, you love it. Okay. Our producer is Steve, the architect Ahlman. Jonathan, X-Man Kermah is also producing, and Aleya in Paris, Zenieris is helping out. Jomi Adeniran on social.
What?
Jomi
What?
Adeniran.
Jomi what?
Jomi
Just-
Adeniran.
at this point,
Adeniran?
This is a
Well-
lot of names to read. This is
I
different.
know, he's been looking at this shit, getting real nervous.
No, I guess I heard him delay. It was like when
Our
he's like,
producers,
Kermah is
okay, so
helping
wait,
out.
let's do it again. Leave this in. Our producers are Steve, the architect Ahlman. Y'all might not get fucking nicknames on it. Steve, the architect Ahlman. Jonathan, X-Man Kermah, and Aleya Zenieris. Oh, Jesus Christ. Aleya in Paris, Zenieris. Jomi Adeniran on socials, hashtag Sith Lord Jomi. Additional production from Arjuna Ramgopal. Chuck, take us out.
Watch your evil kids. The Midnight Boys are in their zone. R.I.B. to Coke Baby Chuck. Welcome to Hollywood Holmes.
We had a big segment of this yesterday.
Yeah, we did have a big.
We had a big segment of that yesterday.
Do you want to talk about the eugenics of the Jedi?
It's not, it wasn't eugenics when I was talking about it. You
We
guys
cannot
made it
bring
about-
this up.
We
We
will
cannot
not be bringing that up.
We cannot bring this
Anytime
up.
you guys want to talk about the differences in body styles that make
Christ
specific cultures
alive.
good at sports, I'll talk about it on this show with absolutely Zero hesitation.
Please don't.
Because the reality is where you're from impacts how good you are at certain sports.
Kerm is absolutely.
Everybody has.
That's gotta be racist.
It's not about. Why would it be racist? Okay, you know what's racist? Hold on, real quick. You know what's racist? You know what's racist? It's racist to say one race is good at sports when the reality is that different cultures and ethnicities have different sports that they're good at.
All right, can you break down
and
the
their
explosive
reasons
muscle fibers for
why.
us?
No, I'm not gonna do it. But you know what? You know what? How about this? 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 How about this?
Jesus Christ.
If the audience wants me to enough, I will talk about on this podcast.
Not this
No.
one. You got use
Say
the other
that
one.
shit for higher
No,
words,
this
bro.
is
No,
what-
see, this is what I'm talking about. The bullshit. Why would you bring it up then? You think I'm going to shy away from it? We talked about it yesterday. Anyway,